Alright guys, so we are going to start off with the mud cloth throw pillow. What you will need is fabric, scissors, yarn for the tassels, a piece of cardboard. I have masking tape there, but you don't need it. Instead, just get a ruler and chalk. You need a throw pillow, paint brushes, some paints, pins, and of course a sewing machine. Okay, so your fabric should be the length of your throw pillow times 2 plus about 5 to 6 inches. This is based off of a 16 by 16 inch pillow. So now after you cut out that length, just fold over each short end about half of an inch and hem. Do it on both sides and just fold it over and hem it. After hemming and with the right side of the fabric facing up, just put your pillow around the center, but not quite in the center, but just like smoosh it right there in the center, and then play around with the position until you get your desired overlap position. When that is done, just use a pin or chalk to mark each corner as shown. After that, remove the pillow and draw a line straight across the fabric from your mark or pin. This will now be the front of your pillow cover, and this is where your design will be. At first I was trying to do each section using masking tape, but that was too much work. So I drew a line 2 inches from the last, and then I drew a 3/8 line, and then 2 inches and then 3/8, and I continued along that pattern. Then I googled mud cloth designs and decided which ones I wanted to use, and then I got my paintbrush and some cheap acrylic paint and I Picassoed away. So while we're waiting for the paint to dry, we're just going to get the cardboard, which is about 3 to 4 inches long, and the yarn, and just start wrapping the yarn around the cardboard. I did mine about 50 times. Then I removed the cardboard while slipping my finger where the cardboard was, and I used a piece of yarn to ease through by my finger and tie off at the top. I left this part a bit long, like an inch or so. And then I got another piece of yarn and I wrapped it around the rounded top of the piece to create the head of the tassel, and then I knotted it off. Now going to the other end of the tassel, we're going to cut it where it loops and shape it off so it's nice and even. Do this 4 times so you have 4 tassels, and now let's get back to our cover. Again, we're going to stick the pillow smack right onto the front of the cover with the right sides facing up, and we're going to pull the ends to create the overlap again. Now on one side, pin the overlap pieces together as shown. When you're sewing it, sometimes you can mess up and not catch it, so then you're going to have to take out and do it all over again. So we're just pinning that to make sure they're together, and then we're going to pin the entire side. Now we're going to ease on over to the other side and pin the overlap pieces together again, but don't pin the entire side this time. Pop out the pillow, and then put the tassels on the inside of each corner of the cover, with the ends we left sticking out. Pin into place, and then pin the open side shut. After doing the tassels on that side, you can pin the entire side down, and then you can put the tassels on the other side by just removing the pins that we put before, just easing them in, and then putting the pins back in. Stitch both pinned ends, and then you can trim off the excess fabric and any corners if you need to trim off the corners. Then you turn it inside out and look at that beautiful pillowcase. Now chuck your pillow up in there so, and pat to ensure ultimate comfort is present. Okay, so this tutorial is pretty much like the throw pillow one where you're just using plant pots. I have a bunch of plants in my room and I wanted some cute plant pots to like decorate them in. So yeah, we're going to start with some plant pots, paint brushes, paint, and some spray paint. Start off with painting your base coat whatever color you want. I use acrylic paint for the black one, and for the white one and the gold one I use spray paint. I don't go all the way down in this inside of the pot because lazy. That is why I'm lazy. Now just draw on whatever pattern you want to. Again, just like with the throw pillow, I would suggest using acrylic markers for this part, as I was a bit messy using a paintbrush and it's easier to get more precise lines with the pen or the marker, but it's totally up to you. I still like how mine turned out, even though it was a little wonky with the paintbrush and I was rushing a bit, but yeah. Now let that dry, add your plants, and you are done. Now go and be a good plant mommy and daddy. Go and water those plants. We saved the best for last. This is my favorite one. Okay, so what you will need. A stencil of Africa. Mine is on wax paper because I traced it from my iPad. A bootleg rolling pin, aka foil paper roll, Airdry Clay, acrylic or gold leaf paint, spray paint for the base color, paint brushes, you don't need the scissors, alphabet stamps, something with a rounded edge, an X-Acto knife, sandpaper, and wax paper, which is not shown. Okay, so I laid some wax paper over my surface to protect it, and then I got a good chunk of the clay and I knead it. I smushed it around till it was nice and soft. So now I use my bootleg rolling pin and I flattened out my clay so it's nice and flat. I'm trying to get it wide enough so it can fit the stencil with about 3/8 of an inch over the edge of the stencil. Why? Because this is going to be what creates the size of the dish, the little uplift size of the dish. I'm just using a mechanical pencil with no point to outline the stencil. Then I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to cut off the excess clay. I'm always like getting messed up with excess and access. Excess clay. Isn't it pretty? Oh my god. Okay, so now I'm just smoothing the edges and I'm going to be lifting up the edges soon. So you see, it's easier for me to lift the edges using the wax paper. Now let your dog sniff your hand so he knows it's not food for him. Now let him sniff your dish so he can know it's not food yet again. Now let him sniff your smoothing instrument so he knows it isn't one of his toys he stole from his toy box. My nails were too pointy to smooth and create a curved edge, so I had to use the screwdriver end to help me. Don't worry if the dish isn't perfect, and don't worry if it looks wrinkly, we'll fix that soon. After smoothing and lifting, I got my stamps and decided where I wanted to put them. Pretty much just play around with positioning till you're happy. I then stamped them carefully into the clay, so carefully and so closely that my whole head was all up in the camera. So yeah, I'm sorry. When you are done stamping, let it dry for a full 24 hours and then we are gonna start sanding it. We're gonna sand it to like smooth down any rough edges or wrinkles and ridges that may have happened when we were smoothing up the edges or like rolling up the edges. You get me? Look how smooth that baby is. Soon, well, eventually, yeah. Right, now look how smooth that is, yeah? Now go outside at 3 in the morning with your PJs on and spray paint it, while ducking behind bushes when a car passes because you have on just your little tiny underwear shorts. Choose any color you like, but you know me, it's got to be black. After the paint has dried, then I went in with a tiny paintbrush and my gold paint and I filled in the letters as well as the edges of the clay, and then I was done. Here is my pretty African trinket dish that will store my gold and bronze jewelry, which I barely have any of, but don't worry about that. So guys, those were my ethnic melanin inspired room decor. I really enjoyed making them for you guys. And if you want to see any more DIY room decor ideas, please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on that notification so you don't miss a single thing. Let me know which one was your favorite down in the comments, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!